Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for watching my show. I really appreciate it. It's Friday night, so I hope if you guys are planning on, going out and adventuring into the world this evening, you are safe doing it. Definitely don't drink and drive. I'll say this at the beginning of the video. I also do friendly PSAs mostly at the end of all my videos that I talk about having y'all Friday, Good Friday, or Good Night, but seriously, don't have anything at all to drink, have a designated driver, and if you don't, make sure you hit up a ride service or a friend or have somebody that's not or has not had a single drink at all take you home. You feel me? So, tonight I want to talk about streamers, creators, influencers, and their inevitable impact on politics. So I link in the description below. A huge fan of Wisecrack, huge fan of the host there. I think he's a funny guy. He's got a lot of smart stuff to say. Plus, he's the lead, like he's a member of the Grateful Dead cover band. Like that's cool. I can't honestly say I've ever heard a Grateful Dead song, but like I know who Jerry Garcia is, and I have been a proud owner of some of their merch throughout the years, which is an incredibly hard thing to attain because they're known for that. I mean, their concert tees and their original art design work shirts sell for more than like even the Metallica art does on the old vintage rock tees, which is pretty incredible because some of those things sell for like 400 or 500 bucks. You feel me? But like seriously, I want to talk tonight about how all of those people that I just talked about, right before I got into my sidebar, but like content creators, inevitably we will have an impact on politics. And like for a bunch of different reasons, obviously. I myself, as a 36-year-old, soon to be 37-year-old man, have made it pretty clear, on the channel that has been, just remarkably cataloged for the past few months. I mean, if I can get through an entire year of streaming 4 times a day, regardless of what I'm doing in my personal life, that's gonna be like a thing for me. I mean, 365 straight days of four videos. I mean, that's like a lot of videos. I mean, it is, and I think I'm up for the challenge, and I know we're not talking about that right now, but I'm talking about it because even in my description of the channel, I'm a social capitalist, and it's tough because there's not a niche for me. What I want to do in my life, there is no sort of path as it concerns, yeah, satire, comedy, hosting, but also not liable for things that I may or may not say that get upset, like make people upset. In that, like, you can imagine sort of like, I guess a lot of social commentary evolves into things like that can be influential, like a Howard Stern kind of a person, somebody who has, remarkably had a relatively long and prosperous commentator career without really ever having to like anyone per se. And I say that in that, like, it's not like I don't like people. I love people. It's just, like companies, like corporations. Those are the people that I have problems with. You know what I mean? And oftentimes the people that are facilitating the corporate behavior, just because I'm not a huge corporate guy, I believe in sole proprietorship. That's I'm a capitalist. I mean, that's weird, right? Because I'm a part socialist too, and I identify as a social capitalist. But I say I'm a capitalist in that, like, I understand my gambles in life financially, and I don't expect for anybody to cover my losses or make it better for me as it concerns changing the outcome of what was already going to be doomed to begin with. And like, I think that is a big kind of a thing. And I did really forget what I was talking about there. So I am just going to move forward and still just talk about how, and I hope I wasn't like lose like too good of a point there or something, or not messing anything up too bad. But regardless, I think it's not a bad thing. And I think that like people like me, all of that stuff, now that I remember, I want to set myself up for a career. And I feel like this is the future of politicians. Like, this is it. I can't really quite understand why people like our major political candidates would even want to raise hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, this is the quintessential grassroots definition of communicative democracy. I mean, you have YouTube pre-installed on most phones. You just turn it on, and if you're an interesting person or if you have things to say that matter and you're willing to do things about them to make change, then like there you go. And I hope to be a part of the future political pool of candidates, in that like, I start here on YouTube and we go from here. So far as it concerns the definite, I'm definitely trying to spread a different kind of ideology as it concerns, as I've said before, the hybridization of socialism and capitalism. I think that, the world is not ready for 100% socialism. And I think that's, I've said it before on the channel, the ultimate end game for civilization throughout the world if we play our cards right. I mean, and that's kind of a utopia. And I don't understand why it would be construed as anything other than just that. I mean, you can imagine an entire planet of sentient beings free of, a ruling class that oppresses them and enslaves them and allows them to be part of a society that gives people an opportunity to actually experience life and to live that life and to make decisions and to have free will. And obviously, so I'm saying it now again, just like I did. You feel me? Socialism is obviously something that I think in 100 years, maybe 150, if we're real all unlucky and things don't go out our way in the next like 30, then I think that'll happen, But like until then, we have to do something, and us doing nothing about this particular something is not an option. I mean, this is Vlogs About Nothing, but inevitably, I do want to be a part of, changing the world for a better place. And so again, I agree that I think it is in fact not bad that people get their political social commentary from YouTube videos. I don't think it's bad that people are in fact doing what I'm doing, in that the political social commentary is also a bigger part of that person's personality. And again, that's why I'm always saying that like I'm trying to sell myself, because I want to be a huge creator, obviously. But like at the same time, I also want to have a big box, so I don't put myself in such a small box, which is why I try to, talk about everything. I try to talk about everything. And if there's, I wish, that like there in the future there would be like a really cool way, where I can interact better with subs and stuff like that. The Patreon channel, I think, is ultimately that's where it's going to be. I started, that about a month ago, but it's incredibly difficult to do things like that with just a phone, So I'm really just focused on getting a laptop and then getting back on Patreon, really figuring out how to make my videos the best they can be while still maintaining the kind of like old school vlog vibe that I always want to maintain. Regardless, I think it's a really cool thing that young people in particular, your Zs and your Alphas, are seeking out places like YouTube and Twitch and other streaming platforms to hear people in their age demographic talk about their political beliefs. And again, even if their political beliefs that like they're being presented with are argumentative by nature, I think that is just a cause for discussion. And there are lots of people who really value the different kinds of thoughts that are presented, and by no means take them by anything other than what they are. And I think we ultimately got to respect people's different opinions. I mean, not any one of us are just right. So I really feel like it's important that as the world progresses, we give different commentators and different creators and different influencers and streamers an opportunity to be the people we know that they can be. And I think it's interesting, again, going back to that box, because we know what our creators are. A lot of us can feel, as like a part of their life based on just if we've seen them make dozens of videos, and they talk about different things or whatever. I mean, we more or less get an idea of like whether or not we'd hang out with that person in real world. And like I feel like that, you know what I mean? And it's just a changing environment. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next 10, 15 years is going to bring, as so far as future politicians go, and as it concerns particularly this platform, and inevitably where that leads. Because when you have, more people watching somebody playing a video game and talking about politics than you do the major players on all corporate networks who are bringing in hundreds of times more revenue than that single creator is, like in terms of just like they're not even getting like the views, you feel me? So like it's interesting and it's really cool, and I'm really a fan of, like the future, in that these people are inevitably gonna have to be, the people that are gonna try to help public policy and stuff like that. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a really good night, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Bye.